welcome to episode number 7 of the Making Moves podcast, where we talk relocating and real estate in the Dominican Republic. I'm your host, Josie sells DR, and today I am joined by the coolest guy in Cabarete, literally, Mr. Justin James. JJ and I met, the first time I met you was when you pulled up to my house. I was selling some furniture. You wanted to buy some of it. You pulled up to my house in your, Land Rover Defender. And I was like, who is this guy? And he, pulls up, and you were just one of a kind you. Pulled up, and I think in the 10 minutes we were talking, I found out that you have lived here for 20 plus years. You have this amazing boutique hotel that you built from the ground up.
Yep.
You have this recording studio, part of the hotel that we're filming today's episode in. It's one of the coolest places I've ever been in. And you have a car rental business, and you got attacked by a shark. I also learned that in that 10-minute not here, not in the Dominican Republic. No sharks here. Don't want to scare anybody away. But yeah, in that 10 minutes, I was like, this guy's cool. This guy is definitely has an abundance of knowledge when it comes to relocating here, raising a family here, doing business here. So I'm stoked to have you on today's episode. Yeah, can you just introduce yourself and
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I'm Justin. Yeah. Justin James. Been living in Cabarete a long time. I actually first came to Cabarete when I was a teenager.
Okay.
To windsurf. So that was back in the 90s, in the mid-90s. And I lived here for a few years. Then I left to pursue music. I moved to Los Angeles.
Wow.
And I spent years in the music business, but I was always kind of daydreaming about coming back here. But I wanted to come back with a little money in the pocket.
Yeah.
And I just got tired of the rat race. I got tired of, I'm born in Vancouver, but I lived in California for a long time. And I just wanted that kind of peaceful, tranquilo life. So and because I'd lived here for those couple of years when I was younger, it was a much easier transition for me to move back. I, still had friends from those years. And when you make friends when you're 18 and you don't, maybe you don't see them for 15 years, but there's a bond there. So when I came back, it felt like home. And, and I started being an entrepreneur here, and things are great. I love living here.
Yeah. So what was your first of all, why the DR? Why did you
the ocean.
Decide the ocean?
Yeah, the wind and the waves.
Okay.
That's what brought me here. But there's a lot of reasons. I mean, there's freedom. Mm-hmm. I was living in San Diego for a while. It's you couldn't walk your dog on the beach unless it was before 7 or after 7. You can't sit with your girlfriend with a bottle of wine anywhere.
Right.
You can't park your car, traffic, go through a red light, a camera snaps a photo of you. You're 0.4 of a second over and you get a $500 ticket. Right. It just started adding up. And so that is, does not exist here. Right. We have those simple freedoms, which mean a lot to me. And then just, again, the beach, it's always there. So I love living here. I mean, it was the best decision ever was to move back to this island.
Amazing. Love it. So what was your first business venture when you came here?
Well, when I returned, I was still a touring musician.
Okay.
So I was spending 3 months here, then leaving on tour, coming back every time the tour was over. So I left my little motorhome in Florida. Okay. I actually did a tour from California to Florida, and then I moved here.
Okay.
So from 2000, when I moved back, it was 2011. That was when I said, okay, this is going to be my home base now. And from 2000 to about 2015, I toured. And then during that time, I started a car rental business. Right. And it just started really slowly. I just had a couple old Jeeps and rented them out and then, slowly flipped them. And now I have 20 vehicles.
Wow.
So it's Coconut Car Rentals. Amazing. And that's thriving.
You're book solid all this
book
time.
solid,
I've asked do you have a car? And you're like, nope.
No. But, down here when you live in a small town, word of mouth is everything, and your reputation in business is everything because, you burn someone and it travels around quickly.
quick.
So I just run honest business here, and still to this day I pick up most of my clients at the airport myself.
I've seen you there.
So yeah,
Yeah.
so that's how I built that company.
Amazing. Okay, so you started with car rentals, then you transitioned into what?
Well,
You
what
still
year?
have car rentals.
Yeah, I
but
still have that.
second,
Well,
you added.
I bought this land where the hotel is, and that was about 8 years ago. And then, so I bought my house, and then I bought the land next to my house, and then I slowly started building this boutique hotel. And it took a while because I didn't want to borrow money. I didn't want to like take out a loan or have investors, so I kind of just pieced it together. And then I opened like a month before coronavirus.
No,
Yes.
really?
But I was really lucky because I put kitchenettes in every apartment.
Right.
And then when the airports closed, a lot of people weren't able to leave and they were looking for long term. We even had one client rent for 9 months.
Okay.
And so I was able to transition, which was never what I wanted to do, was long-term rentals. But it kept us above water
Right.
throughout coronavirus. I mean, think of opening a hotel and then a month later the airports close. So it happened.
But
and
it was a blessing in disguise because now,
Yeah, we
what has
survived.
happened to your hotel now?
Well, we've switched concepts to only doing groups, and that was the best decision ever. It was actually my idea to do that initially, but I had to kind of test the waters first, and also there were parts of the hotel that weren't finished. So I was able to open up like about 75% of the hotel. And then, I had to do some finishing things to be able to accept groups. I had to open up a commercial kitchen.
Right.
I had to have seating areas for people to sit down and have group dinners and lunches and so forth. So about a year ago, I think it was like December 28th last year, that's when I switched to groups, and that's it. We only accept groups, and I know you talked to my partner, Ben, and so he handles all of my reservations.
Amazing.
And it's been great.
Yeah.
It's such a better concept.
It is.
Like if you're in charge of a group, I deal with you. Or for instance, Ben deals with you.
Yeah.
You tell me how many people are coming. You tell me what they want to eat. But so I'm still the host. I'm still here to greet everybody. I'm still here to have a beer with everybody. But Ben handles all the logistics and allows me more time to be in the music studio doing what I really love to do.
Amazing. And you have 2 little kids.
2 little, 7 and 4.
7 and 4. So what has it been like raising a 7-year-old and a 4-year-old here?
Great. They're in international school, and they're on Christmas break right now. But I mean, what better place to raise kids? I mean, the beach is there, keeping kids out of trouble. I mean, surfing, the ocean. It's just more of a natural way of growing up down here. I think in the school they go to, there's like 18 different nationalities.
I know.
Something like that.
Amazing.
And so guarantee they're walking out already, they're already fluent in Spanish and English. And by the time they graduate, they'll probably have 3 or 4 languages under their belt.
Yeah.
And it's just more hands-on, the schooling, smaller classes. But, again, it's just more peaceful here.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's so, I can't imagine. I grew up in Vancouver and the rain and the snow and I can't imagine growing up here. It would have just been heaven.
It's a literal
Yeah.
dream. And I've talked about this before, but it's so cool that our kids from such a young age are being exposed to all these different languages, all these different colors of skin, all these different people from all over the world. When they grow up, like in Canada, bullying is like such a huge thing where it's like, okay, they speak a different language, they have a different skin tone, like it's just like a target for a lot of kids. Whereas here it's like that's the norm. Like it's just normal for someone else to you know, maybe not speak the same language as you.
Yeah, I think
Maybe
there's
look little
a
differently.
level of being humble here on even with the children, with everything. I mean, you know, obviously the Dominican Republic, there's poverty.
Mhm.
So you see that. Um, and you, like if you're poor in the United States or Canada, you are looked upon as a,
Peasant.
yeah, as a
Yeah.
lower class. But here
Yeah.
you still have pride if you don't have money.
Mhm.
And there's a difference. So, but no, I mean, you know, living here with my kids, the best thing ever. I mean, I'm going to the beach with them later today.
Mhm.
You know, I'm gonna go walk down the beach, and
Yeah.
you know,
What would
that's
you be doing in
best part
Canada
of the
right
day.
now?
My mom just sent me a photo
Oh,
of
I don't even want to
dumping
know.
with snow.
Don't even want to
Yeah.
know. Okay, what challenges did you face as a foreigner starting a business in a new country?
Well, there's always the language barrier.
Mhm.
You know, my Spanish is okay now, but you know, 7, 8, 9 years ago was really difficult.
Mhm.
So like going to a mechanic, trying to get one of my cars fixed. There is a game, like little bit of a hustle game, but that's everywhere in the world.
Mhm.
But you know, especially down here, I mean, when you're a foreigner, a lot of the locals, you know, the Dominicans think, you know, dollar signs,
Mhm.
you know, so they can so you got to find out who do you want to work with, you
Yeah.
know, and who, you know, so but that's always been a bit of a challenge. Um, but you know, overall, I've just kind of kept to my little circle.
Mhm.
You know, I've treat my employees like gold, and
Yeah.
they return
Yeah.
that to
They're
me.
loyal.
So
Mhm. Amazing. Well, yeah, and if you were to if you were to go and open a boutique hotel in Canada, that would be a long and
the
tedious
permits,
process, even for the
selling
permit.
alcohol.
Like
Here, I
here,
just sell
you
alcohol.
just sell
There's
it.
no
You
permits.
build it, you do your thing, right? It's
Exactly. So I mean,
give
that's
and take.
another beauty of living here. There's less red tape.
Mhm.
Um, you know, especially if you're not building like front and center on the busy beach.
Yeah,
You know, I'm a little off the beaten path.
that's still a prime location. Like you're
Yeah. So, but you know, it's just,
easier.
it's everything from taxes to
Mhm.
employees. I mean, I don't know if you saw, but I'm doing a little maintenance here. But that's husband, wife, and their son
Amazing.
all working for me, you
I love
know?
that.
And like when we have the chef, it's his brother and his wife, and we just have this little
That's cool.
circle of family, and it's like that's the way I like to keep it,
Mhm.
like that. And
Amazing.
yeah, no, everything's great here.
Good. Okay. But what businesses do you think, after living here for the past 20 years, what businesses are in demand right now here on the North Coast?
Well, I think
If you were to pick two things, if you were just coming here and you're like, I need to work, I need something that's gonna make me money, what are you gonna start up?
well, first of all, any business that you start here, you have to be front and center. A lot of people come here, let me start something up. I mean, a lot of people's dream is let me have a bar on the beach,
Right.
but that's been done a lot.
Yeah.
And the thing is that you have to be here. You cannot leave that bar in with, you know, someone else to take care of it.
Agreed.
It just doesn't work.
Right.
But I mean, look, I almost feel like there's so many businesses that you could do, because one thing about this country is that customer service, unfortunately, is not at the level that we are used to.
Yeah.
So if you do any business with really good customer service, look, I started a car rental business. I'm a musician. I started a car rental business. And just because of keeping my cars in great condition and treating my customers like gold, you know, I've thrived. So, but I mean, look, I've thought of like multiple businesses, like, you know, because I wanted to get my undercarriage of my Defender painted with that kind of rust protected paint.
Okay.
It's like the only place I can do that is Santiago. And I was like, you really need that on the beach,
Yes.
you know? And I was like, man, it'd be nice if somebody opened one of those down here. Cause like here with the salt, things corrode.
Yeah.
And you know, you know how they spray the liners of the pickup trucks, the bed liner. And I'm like, I got to drive all the way to Santiago to do that.
Right.
But so I mean,
There's not a ton of competition. Like if you were to start something and you run it properly, like you're not gonna have a ton of competition.
No,
Like,
there's really one chiropractor year round.
I know.
Yeah, and he's so booked.
Yeah.
And there's another guy that comes down for 6 months out of the year.
Yeah.
There's a lot of opportunities. You know, the main thing is, you know, you just run it like you would back home.
Yeah.
You know, run it with, you know, that kind of level. The problems you'll have is, you know, if you're hiring locals to work with you, that's where you can run into, because we think on a kind of a different level. Island time is a real thing. People like, oh, you think work starts at 9? You know, it doesn't always start at 9. Totally. It starts when they get there. And, you know,
you want them there at 9.
But then you can get really frustrated, and then getting frustrated with your employer doesn't work, with your employee doesn't work either, because they don't respond to that. Right. But when you find good people to work with you, hang on tight.
Yeah. Treat them well. Okay, so over the past 20 years that you've been here, how have you seen the real estate market change?
Well, now it's exploding. So it's like, you know, it's just reached kind of like an epic level right now.
Yeah, I wish I could.
I mean,
take
it's insane.
Back to when you were first here.
If I only had money when, you know, who had money when they were 18, 19 years old, right? And like, I remember way back then, someone coming and saying, if I can get 5 people together, we can buy that point on the ocean right there, on the beach, right? Yeah. And it was like everyone had to put like 10 grand together or something. And then now it's like, you know, I mean, Kite Beach had nothing. It wasn't even like, people were like, oh, people won't live there because the wind blows right on there. And, but, you know, it's just exploding. You know, it does almost a little bit concern me how many cars we're going to get. Yeah. Hopefully the federal government will build a bypass, right? You know, because it's going to continue growing out in Rio San Juan, Cabrera. That's going to be really like the next, you know, hot spot.
East Cabrera, Rio San
Look,
Juan.
there's the thing about here is like, this is like I consider this like the last frontier. You know, we're 2 hours from Miami. We are stable. Hospitals, electricity's pretty stable. You know, it's safe. And where else are you going to go? Like the Virgin Islands, too expensive. The Bahamas, too expensive. Hawaii. Too small. Everything else is like either too small, too expensive, or you can't even live there all year round because of residency issues. Here you can still get a residency for like $3,500.
Or you don't even need to.
You don't need to, but yeah, you don't need to right now. But that could change. Yeah. There's not many places left. You can't, Costa Rica. I used to go to Costa Rica all the time. It's so expensive now. It's not even, you know, so let alone this is paradise. I mean, it's just paradise. The people here are genuinely friendly. You know, you break down on the side of the road, someone's stopping to help you.
I have literally run out of gas probably 3 times since being here. Don't know why, I just have. And every single time, a little Dominican man has pulled up on his moto, gone to the gas station with a water bottle of gas, and come back within 5 minutes and expected nothing. Like, it's great. Yeah,
they're always willing to help, you know. I go back, like I went 5 months ago back to the States to do a show.
Yes, you see that contrast.
And I just was like, I just can't wait to come back.
Same.
And I was only gone for like 5 days.
Yeah, that's
just wanted out.
What confirmed for me that I wanted to live here was when I actually went back to Canada, and that instant landing there, just seeing how like dull and just like lifeless, and just like the whole ambiance, the whole energy was so different. That's when it was like confirmed that, okay, this is where I want to go.
Because life's too short.
It is.
It's just too short.
Yeah, life's too short for a 1-week vacation.
A lot of people are waiting for retirement, waiting for the right time.
Yes, but it's like you can still buy something now, rent it out until you decide
Absolutely.
to retire.
Well, a lot of
Make
people are
that
doing that.
rental. They are.
They
A
are.
ton
They're
of
starting
my friends,
out.
that's what they do. You know, they're 5 years out from retirement. They want to get in now while prices are still, you know, there's still things that they can afford, cash. They buy it, they rent it out for the next 5 years. They're making, you know, stable rental income. And then in 5 years, they come here, they retire. They have a house here.
Absolutely.
That's already appreciated massively since they bought it. So, yeah. Okay, last thing I want to talk about is your new retreat.
Yeah, escapetotheisland.com. It's a retreat for people that want to move here, that people want to learn the ins and outs, people that maybe want to start a business here, people that want to retire. And it's like they come to my little boutique hotel, they spend a week, all inclusive, and I just show them the ropes because, you know, especially through my car rental business, I mean, I've already been doing this for years. People just asking me like, who's a good lawyer?
Yeah.
You know, where's a great restaurant? I mean, those are the basic things, let alone like
Insurance and banking and all the
labor law. Like if I'm going to hire someone, how do I do this? You know, what happens if I'm in a fender bender? What should I do?
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many little things. I mean, that when you live here as long as I have, and I've opened businesses here and done like construction from the ground up. That whole process of building my hotel, you know, my phone is filled with every independent contractor. You know, I went through a lot of bad ones to find the good ones. So if people are buying and doing renovations, I mean, I've got a lot of contacts because, you know, and so that's what it is. That's really what it's, you know, it's trying to help people. And the other thing is that, unfortunately, I have seen so many people come here because without the proper planning, they've ended up returning to Canada or the States,
Yes.
and they've returned with like the tail between their legs, 20 grand less, if they're, because they didn't plan right. Moving to a new country, first of all, it can be expensive. I mean, moving anywhere, but, if you don't plan properly, it's really overwhelming. So,
Oh, I know. That was
yeah.
us. We didn't plan. We'd never been here. We just booked a one-way flight here.
You'd
We're like,
never
let's
been here.
check it out. And then we didn't leave, but it was still like an entire year of just being extremely uncomfortable, trying to figure everything out on our own. We knew nobody. So I think it's amazing that, you have that experience, and because you've had those experiences, you have the knowledge, and now you're able to share that knowledge with people who are looking to do.
Absolutely. So our next retreat's already full, but we're going to do one again
Do you do 2 a year?
We're going to do 2 or 3 depending on the demand.
Good.
But we'll probably be doing one, because February's booked, we're going to do something in March or April.
Good.
But yeah, it's, again, I'm there at the airport to meet you, and, everything from live music, pig roasts, to just, it's a good time, but also learning. The lawyer comes here to speak to you. The realtor comes here to speak to you in our game room, in our conference room here. And, we take you around, we show you this island, secret little spots that you probably don't even know about right now that, but yeah, just good times and really trying to help people move here.
Yeah, seamlessly.
Yeah. And I'm not a realtor, so I'm not trying to sell real estate.
No, but you're a car guy. So
Yeah.
Coconut car rentals. You got Project Paradise, and now you have Escape to the Island.
Yes.
Amazing. I'm
And
gonna
so,
put all your
thank you.
links in this YouTube video.
Appreciate it.
On the podcast. But anything else you want to say?
No, thanks for the
Good?
time.
Yeah, thanks for being on. Thanks for watching. If you got value from this episode, please share it. And as always, if you do not follow me on social media, you can follow me at Josie Sells DR. And Project Paradise, is that your...
Project Paradise DR?
Project Paradise
Yes.
DR. We will see you next week in the next episode. Adios.